When I first saw Adrian's sketch, I fell in love with it. There's this circular movement that pulls your eye around and around. The wheat like blowing in the wind, which pulls your eye to the hair, which is kind of spinning around. And then your eye goes down to the mug of beer pouring out, and then that splashes up and you see all the beer with the bubbles that pull your eye back up the other side, and then back to the wheat. But then in the center of that is that standing figure with those eyes that are just staring right at you.
Well, basically this project has been important to us. We've wanted to do a collaboration for quite some time now with an outside artist, someone that can help us think outside the box. As Elizabeth and I have been designing for glass for so long, we're kind of limited when we think about designing and fabricating. We're thinking about what's easy to cut, what's easy to assemble, production. The glass we selected to use was all mouth-blown antique glass. It's a joy to work with, but it's a little nerve-wracking because it's the most expensive glass there is. But it's gorgeous, and it gave us an amazing palette to paint on.
Painting stained glass is much more difficult than I thought it would be. And the paint that we use is basically, it's ground up glass mixed with other sediment. And when you paint on the glass, initially when you paint the lines, you have to be very careful not to go over your line very many times because it creates this kind of burning effect after it's fired.
One fun technique that we used throughout the piece in a bunch of different areas was using vinegar to kind of give bubbles or star shapes. So we used that in the sky, we used that in the water, we used it in the background of the corners. Maria Orr is a glass painter that I've worked with on a number of projects, so she was our immediate choice, who we wanted to paint the flesh and the face.
5 layers of paint on the face alone. I mean, you start out doing the trace lines, which is like the lining of the eyes and the nose of the features, kind of more like the hard lines, and then 3 layers of shading, and then I've added some lip color, cheek color, eye color, earring color on top of that. So there's probably about 2 layers of coloring on top of that.
Matt wanted to do something with a pretty lady, and a lot of Art Nouveau pieces involve beautiful women holding harvest items. So my original sketch had some harvest items, and we were thinking maybe that we would do sort of an ode to Michigan with apples and corn.
And Matt was the one that came up with the idea, why don't we turn the apples into hops and turn the corn into wheat and have her be a goddess of beer.
So there were a lot of obstacles, and given how big and heavy this thing is, we wanted to get it in on a cart, and that forced us to cart it through the brewery, which wasn't all bad. We got a little tour that we've been asking for a long time.
we only chose people that work or that wanted to be at Founders because we want people that want to be here. And Matt's a Mug Club member, so we wanted him and we gave him the first option for the best piece that we have.
I feel like we had the exact right team of people working on this. Like it couldn't have come together any better.
I'm ecstatic that we have Art Prize as a vehicle to show this piece to people. But honestly, just creating it was enough for me.
I've always wanted to really test our skills and create something this intricate. And so this is a perfect example to show off just, how much we can do.